Hello, Armoured Pants here, and I have a video for you on the Raseiniai badge, a beginner's guide. What is it? How do I get it? And other interesting questions like that. Well, the first rule of Fight Club, if you've seen that movie, is you don't talk about Fight Club. Why is that relevant to this video? Well, the first rule about the Raseiniai, is don't try to Raseiniai. By the way, this is just my opinion. I'm just giving you my view on it here. Others may have different views, because if you try for it, if you go out to try to kill all 7 tanks, you're very likely to fail. Which is okay, armoured, fair enough, but then how do I get this medal, which I would like to get? Okay, well, this is going to seem a bit weird, but it is a very good question. But my view is don't try to get it. And this may seem oxymoronic, and the answer is too simple perhaps, or maybe too complex. But if you try to get this medal, if you go out to try to kill all 7 tanks, you'll probably fail. So my solution is do it Field of Dreams way. Another movie reference, sorry about that. If you play right, it will come. So what do you mean by play right, Armoured? Well, I've done lots of videos, introductory videos for new players, etc. And this video is for new players. Experienced players probably already have this Raseiniai badge, etc. or know how to get it, or know how it will come. But basically what you do is you follow the game basics and play as a team player. Play as I've suggested you play in the videos on the new tank lines, etc. Follow the guides that I have, and be mindful, of course, of game philosophy. What do I mean by that? Well, basically the total hit pool point of your team, when it reaches 0, you lose. Total hit pool point of the enemy team, when it reaches 0, they lose. Don't go off on your own. Support your team. Concentrate fire. Don't YOLO. YOLO is you only live once. It means going off into the enemy, driving straight into them, getting killed. Don't do that. More basics that you've learned from the other videos. Keep your armour front on to the enemy, so you're going to bounce as many shots as possible. Also angle your tank, move it 45 degrees, 60 degrees, etc. to create steeper angles that make it more difficult to penetrate. And if you look at be mindful of flat armour versus angled armour mechanics, which I've explained in many of the videos. Aiming is maiming, I always say this. Make your shots count, don't rush them. Stopping is dropping. So unless you're in a TD, move around the map. And in the game you're going to see where I Raseiniai. You actually move it around the map, the whole way around the map. And get really good in your tanks. What do I mean by this? Well, tanks are like clothes, right? The more you use them, the more comfortable they become. If you play a few games in one tank and then move up to another tier, you're not comfortable in that tank, you're not going to be very good in it. So this is why I always say don't rush up the tiers, don't rush to get to the next tank. It's not a race to go up the tiers, it's not a race to accumulate tanks. That's not what this game is about. This game is about mastering the game mechanics, mastering the basics of the game, and practicing those in 1, 2, 3 in a small number of tanks, making sure you get very good in those tanks. And then these medals like Kolobanov, Raseiniai, etc. will come. Randy Walters for 5 kills, Pool medal for 6 kills, etc. All those medals will come. Scouting medals, etc. Get comfortable. Just think about, how comfortable you feel wearing a new suit or a new pair of jeans compared to your old jeans that you've worn for years. Right? There's a huge difference, right? And the same principle applies to tanks here. Keep that in mind. If you're comfortable in a tank, you'll play much better in it. So, have fewer tanks, but be very good in them. And there's no rush to go up the tiers. Let me give you an example, by the way. Very good friend of mine, I've known since I started the game, Tipsy McStagger, used to be Deputy Clan Leader 101 with me. Now in our Associate Clan 7 Ghost Division, he's the lead. He had played almost 19,000 games before he acquired a tier 9 tank. Very experienced player, very good player. But he didn't rush up the tiers, and he just played a lot in tanks that he was comfortable with and loved, like his Cromwell B, etc. And let that be a lesson, It's not about acquiring numbers of tanks, and it's not about rushing up the tiers to get to tier 10. So get comfortable in your tank, and then these medals will come. As I said, Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you do the right things, these medals will come. But don't try for them, don't push them. Now, there you go. That's first kill, the KV1 there. Nice Freddie Mercury round straight up the bum. Not good for him, but good for us. Now, you may wonder why I decided to go firstly left and then I changed my mind to right. It's because our team weren't moving, and I thought the Panzer IV was going to be left on his own, and I thought we would need to hold that flank. As it turns out, I don't really know what the rest of the team are doing. Not a lot by the looks of it. So I kind of ended up kind of flanking in a heavy tank, which is unusual. But nonetheless, you have to play the hand that you're dealt. So I decided to come around, and I'm going to try to put some rounds into the back of this VK, giving him a few deliverance rounds there straight up the bum. I put one more into his backside here, side on, and now I just have him down to one shot. So what do? I switch up to APCR. Why? Because I want to make 100% sure to kill. He's at close range, so loss of muzzle velocity over distance doesn't matter. That's the second kill. We're still 4v6 though, now 3v6, we're still in a lot of trouble. Going to come around now to try to support this, my two tanks here, the SU and the T-34. I'm trying to be a good team player, but unfortunately the SU is already gone. He was caught either side of those tanks. Now I fluffed this shot completely. I did think I had it aimed properly, but you know, it may be the gun on this tank. The T-14 is a great tank, I really love it. But it has a short barrel. And that means that it has less rifling possible with shells, so they can be inaccurate and lack a bit of penetration, which is why I use gun rammer, why I use refined gun and supercharge. Now we're down now to 2 versus 3. T-34 has survived, and he's going to help me a bit and put one into the Stuart. For Stuart back up. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to use the SU's carcass, the dead body of that tank, to protect myself, and I'm going to move back and forth. As I always say, stopping is dropping, so I'm never sitting still, I'm constantly moving. I'm using the hull of this dead tank to give me some cover, to make it difficult for them to put shots into me. The fact that one of them is a TD makes it more difficult for them because he has no turret, so he has to maneuver around all the time. Now I do take one here, but because I conserve my hit points, I'm able to do that hit point trade with him, clear him. Now it's 1v1. That's the 6th kill, and the M4 is panicked a bit here because he's seen them go from 4 tanks to 3 tanks to 2 tanks, and now he's on his own. And instead of using the hull of the dead SU and the hull of his compatriot and my T-34 to make it difficult for me to shoot him, he actually moves out into the open. But that's because he panicked a little bit, and he may be a little bit inexperienced. So there you go. That's a Raseiniai Medal, all 7 kills. Obviously a mastery badge for that, because I also did almost 2.4k damage. Massive carry for me as well. And worthy opponent, thank you very much, sir. Very nice of you indeed. And again, what did I do there? Just to summarise on the lessons that we had earlier, I didn't try to Raseiniai. I just did the very basics and did the right thing, support my team, move around the map. Aiming is maiming, stopping is dropping. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy now. Cheers guys, see ya, bye bye. Cheers Mush, bye.